Eviscerate your opponents with gas. Set up traps with barbed wire. Skewer through elytra users. And spike your enemies with a charged up glaive. These are just a few of the items featured in Roundabout, the JoJo mod. Hey guys, I'm Tuck, from the Roundabout team. In Roundabout, there are a lot of items fighting to make their way to your hotbar, whether you're fighting other players or even just decorating your house. Starting from the top, let's begin with the first item, the stand arrow. I'm sure you're all familiar with this one. As the main way of obtaining stands, everyone wants this item at the start of a new world. You'll need to find an ancient meteor in a crater. Mine it to get ancient meteorite. You can also get these as a drop from stand user mobs. Find 3 of them and smelt them together into ancient meteorite ingots. Then craft 3 together with a stick and a feather to get a stand arrow. Meteorite ingots can also be combined into a decorational meteorite block. In order to see stands, you'll have to have one yourself. So how do we get one? Well, you'll need 15 XP levels to be worthy enough to get a stand. Otherwise, you'll get rejected by the arrow. Mobs can also be worthy, but it's rare. If you hold out the arrow, it will sense worthy mobs nearby and shake. But be careful, stand user mobs will defend themselves if they get threatened. Crouch and right click to reroll your stand. You can choose between a primary or a secondary stand. If you reroll your stand, it'll cost 1 XP level. Secondary stands don't need to be developed though. The main difference between primary and secondary stands is overall combat viability. Main stands have higher combat potential, but for the most part, every stand has its place. Secondary stands have a unique bronze color. Main stands are silver, and the creative discs containing maxed out stands are gold. Here is the beetle pattern arrow. This is a rare variant of the stand arrow. You can find this one in desert temples, or by sifting through suspicious sand. This is more for bragging rights, and it just looks really good. Stand discs were introduced in part 6. They let you store your stand. Crafted with 4 nether quartz and 1 soul stand. The primary use of this is to have multiple stands that you could use whenever you want. No! Ah! So that was the harpoon. The harpoon is an anti-air alternative to the typical Minecraft Triton, dealing more damage the longer the enemy has been in the air. Eventually, it will have enchantments, but until they get added, it automatically returns to you after being thrown, and homes into enemies wearing elytras and phantoms. You can find the harpoon in nether fortresses. You might find one of these around in jungle biomes. These are Locakas from part 8. If you eat one, you're instantly healed to full health, but you get a stone curse, and one of your limbs will be petrified. If you eat another one, you'll move the curse to a different limb, but cursed users don't get healed. If your head turns to stone, you're partially blinded by stone. If your chest turns to stone, you drown 4 times faster and walk slower. If your heart turns to stone, you take damage constantly until you die. Hearts even change in your HUD. If your dominant arm turns to stone, you get reduced melee and mining speed. If your offhand turns to stone, you're unable to use items in your offhand. And if your leg turns to stone, you move a lot slower. Breaking a fully grown Locaka plant causes a Locaka branch to drop. These branches can be grafted onto a cactus to create a new Locaka plant. The new Loca is the only way to remove the stone curse by transferring it to another animal, mob, or player. It deals damage depending on the body part that's being transferred. Knives. Knives are one of the main methods of applying the bleed effect. Bleed is an important status effect in PvP. Due to how strong it is, it's anticipated that you keep bleed on your opponents at all times. Bleed 1 halves the healing you get from saturation. Bleed 2 quarters the healing you get from saturation. And Bleed 3 is effectively saturation anti-heal. You can bypass this with potions such as regen, instant healing, or just milk. Knives give Bleed 1 for 20 seconds, and are cheap to craft with an iron nugget and a stick. Throwing single knives are surprisingly effective, as you can throw them out quicker and they're much more reliable to aim. Crafting 4 knives together creates a knife bundle. You can throw these knives, and it'll throw 4 at once. Now knife bundles, they have a second of wind up before being thrown, and a shotgun-like pattern. In time stop, this damage stacks, unlike other forms of damage. At 12 knives or 3 bundles, no more knives can hit the target. but you can throw more if you want to look cool. Using item throw with Star Platinum or the World will make the knife bundles much more accurate. Glaives are a new weapon added to Roundabout, referencing Jack the Ripper's weapon from Part 1. It not only is a good weapon, but it has a charge attack that deals massive damage and applies Bleed 2 for 20 seconds. The Executioner Axe is a new weapon added to reference Bruford and Tarkus's execution flashback from Part 1. You could obtain it by defending a village from a raid to get an execution upgrade template. Use the smithing table to craft it together with an iron ingot and an iron axe to get an Executioner Axe. This axe is slower but more powerful. Mobs killed with it will turn into corpses that can be collected with a body bag. It has planned enchantments for the future, but I won't get into that just yet. The Luck Sword is a reference to Jonathan's sword from Part 1. You could find a luck upgrade template in a village blacksmith chest. Using a smithing table, you can craft it into the Luck Sword, which will get one of two enchantments, Luck, which will give increased random critical hit chance, or Pluck, which will give you guaranteed crits at low health. These features aren't currently implemented yet, but for the time being, it's a more standard weapon. Oh, this? This is a Cinderella salon. Just like in Part 4, Aya is here to help with her stand, Cinderella. If you find an aesthetician NPC, you can trade with her for a lucky lipstick and visages. Lucky lipstick gives you a unique status effect that improves your villager trades until you sleep. And you better not forget to sleep either, because if you don't sleep, you just might lose your face. But don't worry, you can always reapply the lipstick to refresh the timer before you get to a bed. Visages give you the ability to modify your appearance. You can look like various characters from the show, or you can change your own appearance. My personal favorite is the glass visage, which simply hides your armor so you can show off your skin. Scissors are a fast, low damage melee weapon that doesn't deal too much damage, but inflicts bleed 1 for 15 seconds on hit. Scissors can also be used to shear sheep. When used by a player with a justice stand, mobs killed with scissors will drop corpses that can be collected by a body bag. Street signs are decorative blocks that can be placed anywhere, inspired by the famous street sign from Part 3. These signs come in 5 varieties: left, right, stop, yield, and danger. They double as a high damage, low durability melee weapon, causing bleed 2 on hit for 5 seconds. After 3 hits, the sign will shatter, and after each hit the sign will be visibly damaged and its appearance will change. Ah. Barbed wire is up next, and it's referencing traps from the high voltage chapters of Part 7. All wire-based traps deal damage based on how fast the target moves through it, and will also apply bleed 1 for 10 seconds after touching them. To counter these powerful items, you take no damage when you crouch through them. The basic wire trap is the cheapest variation of the item. They deal less damage than the other barbed wire traps, but are harder to detect, and you could use them to catch your enemies off guard. The barbed wire trap costs 2 iron nuggets and a chain to craft, and deals more damage than the basic wire traps, but at the cost of being much more obvious. The barbed wire bunch is the best of the wire trap items, dealing constant damage when touching this version of the trap. This damage can still be negated by crouching though. The gas can and matches are another trap set in the high voltage chapters of Part 7. The gas can is a throwable that bounces 3 times, splattering gas all over the ground, and soaking nearby enemies in gas. When an entity is soaked with gas and they are lit on fire by any means, they will instantly blow up, taking significant damage and burning for a few seconds. You can get rid of the gas effect by entering water. You can scoop gasoline into a bucket to make a bucket of gasoline. The bucket of gasoline is a one-time use ranged option that will soak the target with a gas splatter projectile. Matches are often paired with gas cans. When they touch anything doused in gas, they explode. They can also ignite TNT and TNT minecarts. This can be a very powerful effect in the right hands that can turn the tide of a battle. Matches ignore the protection enchantment when dealing damage, but this damage can be reduced by fire protection. You can craft 4 matches together to make a bundle of matches to make gas explosions deal more damage at the cost of a slight windup. Matches deal additional damage based on igniting the gas splatter on the ground. Be aware of that if matches are part of your PvP strategy. Last is the coffee gum that can be found in desert villages. It restores a very low amount of hunger and is used to breed terriers like Iggy. And that's definitely it. There aren't many more items to cover. Coffee gum. That was the final item, yeah. Good to have a bunch of terriers running around. Fine. Speedwagon is here, and he brings his iconic bladed bowler hat. This item was created by one of the new devs, and here she is now to show off the new item.
Hello, I'm Chloe with the Roundabout team. I wanted to make the hat to show off my skills as a developer before I joined the team, as to start off strong. You can craft the hat with 3 leather, 3 iron ingots, and 2 gold nuggets. Bowler hats can bounce up to 3 times before landing and then returning to you. In this time, if the hat comes into contact with any living things, including you, they will be damaged and begin to bleed. This damage scales depending on how many times it has bounced, so get practicing. The hat ignores protection enchantments, and in its return phase, deals no damage. During that time the hat is bouncing around, it can also pick up items and bring them back to you.
Oh, so like this? Ah, Oh, did the new dev die? Not again. Well, they'll probably respawn soon. In the meantime, there's a lot of new stuff coming to the game that I'm excited about, but I won't get into. Quick shout out before the end of the video to anyone that has contributed to the mod and its development. If you'd like to help the mod in any way whatsoever, you want to help the mod, whether it be making models, animations, shaders, or just stopping by the Discord, we appreciate it and we look forward to meeting you. So yeah, talk out.